What's up, everybody? Hope you had a good week. Hopefully, you enjoyed Raw, NXT, and AEW, even though AEW was slightly lackluster. But, once they're bleeding inside of 10 seconds, it did have its good moments. But otherwise, hope you enjoyed your week. And I hope you're looking forward to, what I am. I mean, I really, really am. And that'd be the big old thing on the screen. If you're watching this, if you aren't, that would be NXT Vengeance Day live Saturday, 8 p.m. Spectrum Center, Uptown Charlotte. I'm going to be there. So I'm extra excited for that one. That's not just because, of me being there. There's a lot more that goes into all of that. This will be Hannah's first time, you know, at wrestling at all. It's my first show since I got back from Iraq in 09. First time ever seeing NXT, first premium live event or pay-per-view. I still like pay-per-view personally. First ever steel cage match live because every time they went to Wilkes-Barre, which is the place I went, which is the one place that we still know Roman Reigns just said Commonwealth of Pennsylvania acknowledge me because heaven forbid he could just say their goddamn name. Wilkes-Barre. They did steel cages. They blew up Vince's limo. I missed all of those things thanks to being in the Marine Corps down here in North Carolina. But this is super exciting. It's a good thing. I see a lot of people dumping on some matches. I think they're all going to be, good regardless. I mean, it's obviously up to personal preference. Not everyone's going to think, like everything that they do. But I think when we put on these shows, they don't miss really normally. And the fact that, again, this is their first NXT's first show outside of Florida since, COVID. So we're going on 3 years since they've done a show outside of the Florida, area there that they started traveling not that long ago. First one, real big one outside, the Performance Center and all that stuff. Now, like it's really exciting shit. I don't care who you are. I'm excited for it. Got a lot of predictions, got a lot of thoughts going into all of it. Because again, might not be a lot of super exciting things, but there's gonna be now to you, but the matches are gonna be good, and I don't think they're gonna falter. So there's some things I'm looking forward to less than others. But damn, is it going to be a good night starting out? If you're watching, you can see their faces behind me. That's Apollo Crews, Carmelo Hayes, 2 out of 3 falls match. We all know Trick Williams' stupid face is going to be there. You can't help it with shoes and everything else that he always sticks his nose in there. But regardless of what you feel, because you might know the outcome already, I think that's going to be a fantastic match. We all know what Apollo could do. Look back to when he first went to NXT before Vince called him up after like 15 seconds. The kid's super, he's talented. He's athletic. He is a freak. With some of the things he can do, and this is his shot to go down there and make his time on NXT actually worth it this time. Because I felt it was a waste. Because Vince called him up after 1, 2, skip a few. Congratulations, you're promoted, you're hired. Like, it was really, really quick. And I like what he's doing down here, regardless of it. It's like, oh, he's going to lose. And let him lose. It's still working with the younger talent in those guys. And he, no offense to any of them, he still spent so much time on the main roster working with people that he knows things. And I see people like dumping on just because we know Trick's going to get involved. We all know it. He gets involved in everything he does repeatedly. Like it's ad nauseum at some points to me. And I'm sure there's going to be 2 clean falls in the match, but we all know Trick is going to get involved in one of them to steal one. But that's okay. It really is. I promise it's okay. Because if they move him on, if that's what really they're going to do is move, Carmelo up to Braun for the big title, it makes sense. And if he doesn't win it clean, it just goes with his character. And Apollo can keep going on to whatever he's doing. Maybe even, be a big shebang, triple threat, stand deliver. Who knows? But Melo, because the way they built him, even though I don't think he's ready for the title picture yet. I mean, who else do they have after he gets through? He's gotten through everyone else. It's a good fit. Could he be the guy to dethrone Braun down the road? Yes. Absolutely. I mean, who else do they have? No offense to Grayson. I don't think he's anywhere near that. That's why I don't think he has a snowflake's chance on Saturday night to win that steel cage match. Because I don't think he's there yet. He's done a lot to irritate people, but which is a gift, by the way, in the wrestling world, especially for his character. But I think that we need to see, Mello be the one because there's no one else that you could believe, and Braun can't stay down there forever. I mean, theoretically, he could, but I think it's going to be a killer match regardless of when Trick gets involved, no matter if they steal one, because it's telling a good story and it has built Mello through all the people, to include people that have gone against Braun in the past and lost, which, again, good thing. Very good thing, because that makes it make sense for him to be the next one to get the title shot against Braun. So I'm okay with all of it. I know there's going to be shenanigans. I've moved on from that. People are just dumping all over it. And it's guaranteed shenanigans all the time, but he is the right fit to be the next guy because, I mean, who hasn't gone against him? Seen Von Wagner do it. Apollo, main roster guys. Like, people have come and gone against him, and really the only one that's believable is Carmelo Hayes. And again, will they have a way if he steals it to have Apollo in there too? That's very possible. But does that mean you should hate on the match because of that? No, because I think they're going to tear the house down. 2 out of 3 falls. It's going to be absolutely great. Minus Trick and his stupid face getting involved. So I'm going to, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking less forward, sadly, to the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match. Katana Chance and Kaden Carter defending against Fallon Henley and Kiana James. The way they built them, I don't see them. And that would be both teams. The way they built Kaden and Katana, and then we really haven't seen them do much lately as women's tag champs. But the way they put Fallon and Kiana together would make the perfect odd couple, and they like to do shit like that. But I don't see it happening. This doesn't seem like the right pay-per-view to do that. Sadly, again, that's the problem. They have women's tag belts, but then they don't have any women that are always together doing stuff to all the time to make them challenge for them, which, is a loss all in all, in my opinion. But I don't see them losing, not putting a lot of thought into it. And we're going to see some good stuff from them. But, probably one of the ones I'm looking forward to the least, and that's just because the way they did it, it's guaranteed to not, guaranteed they should retain just because of how they built everyone else and how long they built them up as a tag team. Just have them lose to these guys randomly put together just doesn't make sense. And I'll see how it works out. But again, no offense to them. Looking at least forward to that. Wes Lee defending the North American Championship against Dijak. I'm looking forward to that. And that's the one that I've seen get most of the hate on the internet. The internet, social media, just people. I'm not talking about dirt sheets or anything like that. I just read straight, what actual people are saying. Not dirt sheet writers. And a lot more people are dumping on this than I expected there to be. And I didn't expect it to be like the favorite thing of the world, but I think this will be a good match and it'll help show what Wes can do. And I think this is one of the slippery slope matches of the night, if you will. Because look how they built Wes and, overcoming everything since, MSK and all that happened. At least they kept using him, which I know I was even on here and I said I was afraid to see what they were going to do with him just because you know how they are. Like, this could have ended terribly for him. And they did a good thing. And I think it'll be a good match. And I'm also on the side of Dijak, because I like Dominic Dijakovic. Thought he was a great character. Thought they were, doing him good and he could wrestle. And then they called him up and did the T-bar thing with Retribution. It was just such dumpster fire. And I think he got the better straw of it as Mace is now Masse and doing the male model thing. And he's down there doing this. And I do believe that, there's, I'll say unfinished business between it just because of the way it ended, it didn't end well for him down there. But the way they built Wes, I just see it that he has to hold on to it. And, he'll steal it somehow. Someone will get involved to cost Dijak, but he can eat the L. He really can just because of it and keep it going. Because right now, him just being able to be a character and not a dude in Retribution, I think, is fantastic for him. I think it's a giant step in the right direction because that T-bar thing, we all saw and went, God, that sucks. And then it kept sucking. And then they kept him as it. And it wasn't any, they didn't do him any favors with any of that. But I like this. Do they probably move on West to retain so we can go against, drop it to like a Tony D'Angelo or someone that stand and deliver? Probably. It makes a lot of sense, and let Dijak keep building as he is so freshly back down there. Yeah, I think he can afford a loss and keep building, in a way. Get disqualified. Someone costs him it to move him on to something else, and then West can deal with someone else. Like, there's a lot of ways they can get out of this without hurting either of them. I just think that as he's been down there for that little, just like Apollo being down there and losing everything, you're back, you're working, but it's to help improve everyone else, even though if it wasn't for T-Bar, God knows where he'd be right now because that was garbage, but it should still be a good match. I don't know why everyone's dumping all over. You can tell me what you think in the comments somewhere. Voice messages are turned on Anchor. Like, I don't understand, though. I think it's going to be a pretty damn good match. I think it's going to be better than the women's tag match. And I'm really curious just to see how they do it again, because they could both wrestle. It's just, how do they keep building West again? Because I think he should be, champion for longer right now. I don't think it's time to have him drop it, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Trust and believe that. But stop dumping on it. I think it's going to be, something worth watching. It's going to be better than the Hardy segment on, at the Royal Rumble, which is absolute garbage. So at least we don't have to deal with that. Give it a shot. It should be okay. The New Day defend the NXT Tag Championships against Pretty Deadly, Gallus, and Chase Hughes, Andre Chase, and Duke Hudson. I think it's going to be, a good match. I think they're going to, definitely over deliver for all of us, no matter how much I don't like Pretty Deadly. They're going to deliver. They always deliver. I can't hate on them for that. The character just hurt my head to no end. And if I hear one more yes boy, my head might actually pop off my shoulders. But it doesn't take away the fact that they are really, really, really talented. And I think this one's going to be one of the better ones of the night. And again, New Day. They always have good matches, and they're going to find ways. I think their experience will help in this situation. And look at all the people that get an opportunity in it. And I think they're still building towards Andre Chase and Duke splitting, and having some big thing down the road. Maybe, stand deliver. Maybe this is what's it. They don't get the tag titles. He beats the hell out of them. Who knows? We'll find out. But it makes sense for them to do that. But I like this. I think it's violently, undervalued from what I've seen going into it. But look at what we get it in. Again, the whole Chase U thing, we get to see that keep going. Get to see the New Day work with young guys, which, again, what are they doing on the main roster? Look at all the people they've worked with so far just since being down there in the matches they gave us. Now they're having the Fatal 4-Way, which is good. And again, they would have been in ring more, but I believe Xavier was hurt. Might have been that. It's just, look at it. Gallus back. And by the way, between them, Tyler Bate, we saw Kenny Omega. I know, mentioning AEW on here. Watch out. But the people that were having visa issues, as we saw Kenny on Dynamite, I'm guessing that means they don't have to worry about that issue anymore. And I'm glad to see them all back because, again, they're a good value to the NXT roster because of the different style Gallus brings to it. And a different flair from over there in European wrestling and stuff. So that's a really good thing. Like, there's a lot of really good things in this match. And I don't see where the hate is, but I will say I don't see Pretty Deadly winning it at all. Please God don't. I can't hear that many yes boys. Literally. Just because of that, I can't do it. I can't hear any more of them. And I think the New Day, no matter what, is going to find a way to squeak it in, squeak it out, and retain their NXT Tag Team Championships. Retain the belts. Because there's 2 belts, 1 championship. So I'm correcting myself there. You can give a shout out to whatever his name is. The guy looked like before he shaved his head. Sam Roberts. There you go. Shout out to him. I still remember that, his whole thing that he did. But I think it's going to be a hell of a match. I think it's violently underrated. And I think, again, New Day is going to retain so they could have whoever ends up being the number 1 contender, no matter how they do it. I think they're going to do it right. And I think doing it right would be have New Day retain and then drop it to someone at the show of shows. Stand and Deliver is their high bar of the year, WrestleMania week. And I think that's a perfect time to drop it, crown them. And they do it before Mania, which means they could lose to them and then go and do a Battle Royal or something at WrestleMania and still be part of that show and get the pop out of that. And they can get double out of everything. And I think that's the good thing. And again, that's the show of shows. That's where you want them to, people to be crowned and to drop it to start their momentum. I mean, no offense to Vengeance Day. I think it's going to be a great tool to project the stories into Stand and Deliver, which it's supposed to be. No offense to Fastlane when they put it there. That was just, dumb. Roadblock, whatever they call that damn thing. I think this one's perfect because of the timing of it to build things. So I think Pretty Deadly doesn't have a chance. Gallus, I think, is going to be closer. I think Chase U is going to be imploding soon to let them have a match against one another at Stand and Deliver. And I think the New Day is going to hold on just because it just doesn't seem right for them to drop it now. It seems too early. If they lose them and they get a rematch, it would be like Stand and Deliver, and having them lose then there again just doesn't make any sense to me business-wise. So they're going to retain and then do the right thing in proper business and drop it at Stand and Deliver, and we're all going to have a hell of a match watching it. And I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be one of the better matches of the night. I'm pretty sure that one's, no one seems very up on it because they know the result, but at least they think they know the result. And I don't care about that. They're going to put on a hell of a good, entertaining match. And that's what matters to me, because we've seen so many bad things that last couple of years where like 5-year-olds could watch WWE programming and predict everything that was going to happen. Like, it got that bad. And I appreciate the matches. I've always appreciated the matches, but they give me a good match, they can hurt my head as much as they want, really, especially as I'll be there. Brings us on to the women's NXT Women's Championship and the triple threat match. We all know I'm excited because Gigi's going to be there. Hannah's excited because Gigi's going to be in it. No offense to the other ones. And Roxanne, she can wrestle, but when she talks, she comes across as like a teenager. Again, she's a baby. I mean, she's had a hell of a last, calendar year with everything she's done, and she's going to grow, which she, is supposed to have more time, I'm guessing, to build towards beating Mandy, and then it was thrust upon her. So I think she's doing a good job with that. She's going to obviously win. And by the way, that picture of Gigi there's been better ones on that thing back there, but I think it's going to be a great match. We just all know it's going to be a 2-on-1, and then one of them is going to go for a pin, and that's when the infighting is going to happen. And they're going to go after each other, and Roxanne's going to be able to sneak in after someone hits a finishing move, pop rocks, game over, done, and retain and move on to Stand and Deliver. We all know it. Who's going to be? How does that work? Because I've heard there were plans to have Toxic Attraction move up to the main roster without Mandy anyway. Like, we've all seen that rumor. If it's true, who knows? But if that's a plan, do they lose this and go away? Do we see another one Stand and Deliver? Because I still see her walking out, with the title after Stand and Deliver without a shadow of a doubt. I think it's going to be closer to her and Zoe, just because look how long Zoe was in the Women's Rumble compared to Roxanne. Like, they're building her. You have to see how it all works out. I just don't think she's ready to go to the main event anytime soon. But we all know Toxic Attraction. Gigi and JC are going to double team her. Then someone's going to go for a pin. Then they're going to take each other out. And then she's going to sneak away by, getting a pop rocks and getting the quick 3 count and calling it a day and retaining. But I still think it's going to be, I think it's a very acceptable match for the women at their first show. Because Toxic Attraction, aside with Mandy, they've always been right there, the three of them. Just because Mandy's gone, doesn't mean they have to go away. And look at all the other people that have had chances at Mandy repeatedly. Just because it's a new champion doesn't mean we need to see them do it again. So having them do it puts 2 of them in there, whole different dynamic, and it'll be good. And I'll get to be there live. It should be very exciting. And as exciting as the main event, again, I get to see a first ever steel cage match. Yeah. Again, they always do it when I'm not there in Wilkes-Barre. Whatever it was, whether it was the First U Arena, the Wachovia Arena, or the Mohegan Sun Arena, I believe it is now, when I drove by around Christmas time. Keeps changing names. I did appreciate the FU Arena the first time, because I'm pretty sure everyone in the city that voted for it said they didn't want the arena. Then they built it anyway. And then it was sponsored by First Union. So while the city said FU to them and built the arena anyway, then the sponsor was the FU. So it was the FU Arena, and that was a great story for anyone that didn't get to hear any of that. That was the greatest thing ever. And they said they didn't want it, and they built it anyway. Who sponsors it? First Union. Like, so it's the FU. Fitting. That, my friends, is when things are fitting. And I get to see a steel cage match, which I've never done. Hannah gets to see a steel cage match, which, again, she's never been live. And I think this one's going to be fantastic because, again, Grayson's good at, his shtick. He's good at what he does. I don't think he's fully mastered it yet, but he is good at it. He's quite competent at what he does. Is in the ring, I don't think he's personally, there yet. He's I'm not saying he's not talented. I respect, the talent, his athleticism, everything he does. I just don't think he's to that point yet. I don't think he's there, and I don't think he's ready to beat Braun. And that's not again, not taking anything away from him. I don't think it's his time. A little more, rubbing with people, because I haven't seen him in ring in a minute, at least that I can remember. I mean, granted, there's a lot of NXT where you're scratching your head. There's a bunch of it, but I think he just needs to just keep doing it more and get away to the North American title and run with that for a while, just to keep building and building and building, and have more matches and higher profile matches against higher profile people, and keep that going before he gets to do that. And I still think this is going to be a hell of a match inside that cage. We know he's going to deliver. I just feel that Braun's more ready than he is to keep holding it. And again, here I don't see it. Like, why would he drop it here? If he's going to drop the title, it'll be at Stand and Deliver. We all know it. And, this is the important thing for this, though. It's going to, again, get Breaker another one. It's going to build things for Waller to build his, resume and get more experience doing things, because working with the top guy, if people can sink or swim, what they're going to do when they work with him. I think he holds his own. I just don't think he's fully there yet, but it's going to make up for the turnbuckle breaking in their last match, which was absolute dog shit. I hated that finish. Did it once, it was okay. They did it a second time, and it ruined it, and it was dumb, but I don't see Waller winning in any way. Again, it just doesn't feel right. Mello, I feel, is more ready for Braun if he's going to drop it, at Stand and Deliver. I think Mello's there because Mello was, North American champion for all that time. And in that picture, Waller was really doing nothing. No offense to him. Nothing as meaningful. So I think it'd be better to have Waller do that. And then if he's going to drop it to Mello. And then Mello can keep carrying the ball while Braun moves up if it's time. And that's only if they think it's time. They just keep, and they didn't see him at the Rumble, which means they might not think it's time to not have him there, but it also could mean absolutely nothing just because they actually use most of the people. So we'll see how it goes. I think it's going to be, I think they're going to tear the house down in that cage match. I really honestly do. I'm really honestly super looking forward to it. We'll see how it works out. But I don't see Grayson winning. So there's all that. I see, there's my pick. So everyone can do. I see Mello getting it no matter what. A retention for the women's tag champs. Retention for Wes Lee, New Day holding on, Roxanne holding on, Braun holding on. I don't see a lot of titles changing hands. I see a lot of good matches. And again, I could be wrong. It's just Vengeance Day. It just seems as we're right here, then we'd be moving into, people getting rematches at Stand and Deliver possibly. And I don't like that per se. Granted, there could be something in between. I could be way off, but get it here just to hold it, to drop it back to them would just doesn't make sense. Hold on until then, let them have their moments. Whoever's going to, have their moment, let them do it there. That just makes better sense to me. But thank you for all the watches and the listens. Please don't forget to hit share on this one a bunch. Let's get this, numbers are, stagnant. Let's try to get this as good of a number as we can. So please share it out all, and then go on the socials, whether it's Twitter at Wrestling Ski, Wrestling with Jesse Rzinski on Facebook. Like, I put all the links and stuff up there. Hit those and share those to your people as well, so we can get more eyes on the prize. It helps out immensely. And it really, YouTube, Rumble, Apple, Google, Spotify, Anchor, Good Pods, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Audible. They're all up there. So share them out, because, again, that helps a lot, and I'm not the one doing it. So no one's going to be yelling at me for spamming them to death, but should be really, really good regardless of that. I will be there. If you're going to be there and you're here to see this, comment. Find me on Twitter so we can, maybe get together, say what's up, and talk a little bit, because I love talking wrestling, obviously. Here we are, going on 25 minutes. I could talk about wrestling all day. It makes me feel good. I'll be holding the Drew Love sign. I believe it's going to say, "Hi, Drew." Pretty sure that's, or Drew Love, one of those two, but I'll be up there, hard camera, just a few rows up. So be on the lookout for that. And really, if you're going to be there, I'd like to meet you, hang out, shoot the shit on wrestling. What I do here, it's what I do a lot. And I enjoy every second of it. But enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy SmackDown tomorrow night. Hopefully they deliver, and deuces, guys. I'm out. Peace.